Good morning, everyone. I can't wait to get started painting. But first, let's take a look at my workbench. Now, let me start off by saying that I do have an art studio. I'm lucky, that just happens to be my job. And in the corner of my art studio, I happen to have a little reborning area that has actually kind of started taking over my studio because this hobby has gotten a little silly for me. But you don't need that. You really don't. You don't need a dedicated room. You don't need any of that stuff. You really just need a table. A kitchen table is fine. A window for light and ventilation. Ventilation, big thumbs up for ventilation. I don't want to look at that window too much because you can see my neighbor's backyard and he might be walking by. A fan, hopefully not as dusty as mine. And these little guys back here are just like puppy pee pads. I know that sounds gross, but if you have a table that you care about and that you do eat on, you might want to use those so you don't get chemicals on your table that would hurt your family or that would ruin the surface of your table. These are rubber gloves. I use them because, well, I don't want all those chemicals on my skin for health reasons and because I'm allergic to the paint thinner and I have a terrible rash that will not go away on my hands and it's painful. And had I been using gloves the whole time, I wouldn't have had that rash. We have Mona Lisa paint thinner here, which I think I actually got that one at Hobby Lobby. I think on my last video I said Michael's. It doesn't matter, it's whoever's open on that day. I just go run over there. I'm not a big Hobby Lobby fan, but if I have to, I will. And these are my paint mixes and varnishes. We will go through all of that later. Again, don't worry about having big jars of stuff. If you're working on one baby, you don't need this. This is overkill. Again, remember, I'm working in volume here. Paper towels. I hate it that I use so many, but with this, you really do use a lot of paper towels. Get the cheapest paper towels that you can find. These little pallets over here are perfect. If you can find one at your local craft store, plastic, glass, it doesn't matter. These are perfect for mixing paints, especially if you're doing one baby at a time. These are my modeling brushes. I have had them forever, and we will talk about that more when we get to doing the next layers of a baby. Let me move that out of the way. Now, probably if you're just beginning, you got that beginner kit from Bountiful Baby or wherever you bought your first kit from of Genesis paint. I have quite a collection of paints. You don't need this collection. This is just accumulated over time. On top here are my air dry paints. I don't do air dry. I may do a tutorial about that later, but I just happen to like these colors and I use them for reference. And these are just, you know, a lot of different colors. I don't use all of these. I just like having them in case I want to do some different types of mixes and washes. Like I said, you'll have the Bountiful Baby colors and I will try to work with them the best that I can. Up here is an ot light. Just because my studio is a bit dark, you don't need this. If you can work by a kitchen window or, you know, any type of window, you'll have enough light to work. These are cosmetic sponges. Go to wherever it is you go to buy your cosmetic-y stuff and get them. A lot of these came from like Daiso or the dollar store or something like that, but the best ones come from CVS. I hate to say it, and my CVS is always out of them. It drives me crazy, but it's just a nice big dense sponge, and I really like those sponges. I think the company is 365 degrees, something like that. I can't remember, but they come in a big bag for like $5. If you find them, get them. Here are brushes. This is part of my art hoardy problem. I love paintbrushes. These are not all the paintbrushes I own. These are just my reborning paintbrushes. If I show you the paintbrushes that I own, you will probably think I'm absolutely nutty. And again, you don't need all these brushes. I'll show you the brushes you need. You probably need maybe 7 at the most. And we'll get into that in a bit. Here is a caddy that I use. Again, remember I'm working in volume, so I like to have stuff right where I can grab it. These are adhesives for eyes and hair and sealing. Toothpicks and Q-tips, if you can get your hands on those, they are really, really valuable. You'll use them a lot. Those are Prisma pencils, extra containers, scissors, pens, glasses because I am blind as a bat. These are my rooting tools. We'll get into that when we get to do some rooting. Rooting needles. I don't do much rooting actually, but we will do a little bit of it. And back to adhesives. This is just so that I can grab things when I need them and they stay organized. There is my computer, my friend. I listen to podcasts or watch Netflix while I paint, and it makes it even more enjoyable. Over here is another art lamp and studio stuff. I have tons. We'll have a studio tour someday. But for today, we're just gonna sit here and use these things. And the next video will explain all this. If you have a spare dish in your cupboard that you will not plan on using for food again, bring it on out, because I think this will be one of your best tools. And let's get started. I'll see you in a few minutes.